Metro got that fire, boy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Post NHL podcast. I'm TJ, that's Jeff, that's Mitch, and today we're going to get into some more NHL news. It's a Monday, September 26th, and yeah, how are the boys feeling today?
Good, man. Good little weekend had there. Played some COD, got to get those reps in. Sadly, pretty slow day for hockey news, but we're going to do the best we can here.
Yeah, same here. Feeling good. Just hanging out. Ready to do the pod. Yeah,
we got a little bit of preseason action that we can recap, so we'll get into that, just the games that we kind of watched and that kind of stuff, and then we got some other topics that we just came up with that we're gonna just shoot the shit and talk about it with the boys. Me, I had a pretty decent weekend. It wasn't too bad, but Monday night, if you know, I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan, so Dallas Cowboys are playing the New York Giants. It's going to be a fucking wild ride. I hope Micah Parsons goes off, but yeah, let's get into it, boys. So starting at the preseason, both you guys, we got a Leafs fan, we got a Senators fan. Why don't you guys give me a little bit of a rundown of what you thought of the games and any big bright spots?
First and foremost, it's just so nice to have hockey back. It felt so great just sitting on the couch. It was a blessing having two games, actually, the 1 o'clock game and the 7 o'clock game. But Jeff, you only caught the first period, correct, of the 1 o'clock game?
Yeah, I only saw a little bit of the first game and then maybe the second half, sort of 10 minutes through the second period, and then I saw the collapse of the second half. I was lucky enough to see that.
We'll start with the game one though. Since you only watched briefly, is there any players that stepped out to you that you want to talk about that you noticed?
Well, the Sandman was looking pretty good. I was actually pretty surprised physicality wise how he looked out there. I mean, he's always been decently sized. It's just been obviously it's tough for players to transition from junior to pro. And again, the speed and the size are always like the biggest factors in those kinds of things. So it was nice to kind of see him getting reps and having him play with Hamonic was really cool to see. I actually would kind of like to see that pairing more often because I think that gives him maybe a little bit more room to be more creative offensively, and obviously we're giving him a little bit of power play time too, which I really liked. I think that's only going to continue to benefit him, and they seem to be using him in the right ways. Only it was one game, but from what I saw, and I also just watched some highlights of how he played afterwards, I thought he was quite fantastic. And shout out to Mark Kostelik as well, the man, the legend, scoring that goal. Yeah, he'll probably be bottom six player. But anyways, yeah, no, I was pretty impressed with Sanderson that first game.
I wanted to touch on Sanderson. He looked like he belonged from the jump, right? Like he was physical. He stopped a 2-on-1, made good plays with his stick. His feet are really good. He kept up with Marner. Like Marner tried to burn him.
Yep.
He got a little bit of an advantage, but because he had to twist and turn, right? So and he still kept up pretty good. So he was the best player on the Sens team to me that game. I feel like the forwards, the big forwards, they had pretty good games. You could tell it's the first game of the season for a lot of the players getting their feet under them, right? But Sanderson looked amazing. I don't know if you noticed anybody on the Leafs, but I was obviously trying to pay attention to who looked good. Adam Gaudette, boys. This is a rock star. From game one, he was physical. Yeah, man. He was against the old Sens team that he played on last year. He was physical. He made great plays. I thought he was going to score a couple times. I thought he had an outstanding game. I think he was one of the top three players that I had on the Leafs in that game.
Yep.
I think the best looking player though, Willie was outstanding, super strong on the puck, good skater, got the assist, could have had honestly 2 goals, but he kind of fumbled it a little bit. He looks amazing out the jump. And his connection with Malgin, I thought Malgin, nice. I kind of wrote him off, but their connection together, they were brilliant. I think they're giving them an extra look for the Wednesday game because they moved the big four over to one group. So I think as it looks right now, it's Willie, Tavares, and Malgin.
He could earn himself
he has
a
a real
second
chance to
line
make this.
role, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He played amazing in Switzerland last year. Like he looked good with Willie. He was in the corners even as a small guy, he's a speedy guy. Looks real good. I can't wait to see more from them. But like, yeah. Ferguson, actually, the PTO. I don't know if you saw any of his saves. He came in the third. He looked a little shaky at the start, but he had a good game as well. I would actually like to see him on the Marlies, kind of splitting time with Wall and Chalgren. He looked pretty decent. Minton, our second round pick, he didn't really like do too much, but like he didn't seem completely out of fit there. Like I like his style of game. It's kind of like that grinding center, third line center kind of guy. But I will say nobody really stood out on D. I think that was kind of the weaker D core of the two games. Nobody really caught my attention. And the last note I have on that game is I didn't like Simmons' game very much. I don't know, because he was kind of bad, pretty slow. But yeah, overall pretty good game for the first one, but a couple standouts there for me for sure.
Well, the one thing that I just wanted to touch on was like I didn't really know who this Alex Steves guy is, the guy who got the empty netter and scored earlier in the game. And I was like looking him up. He got called up midway through last year. And I feel like I do remember that. Like he played like a little bit in December, but yeah, what's his story? Where did he come from? He's 22. I looked it up.
He was a college signing.
College kid? That's what I thought.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, they signed him at the end of the season. He had a good season with the Marlies. Came up with the Leafs. I didn't think he looked that great with the Leafs. Like he made some decent plays, just not quite ready. But he's looking good to start the season.
I was just looking at his stats. He had 9 minutes on ice, 4 shots and 2 goals. Hey,
in the preseason, he only had 9 minutes.
In that first game, he had 9 minutes. So hey, he made the most of his opportunities. He put the puck on net. He was in their zone. So just a little side note, because I was going to mention Minton, but then you kind of took that away from me. So this was the other note that I had, was that I didn't know who this guy was, but I liked what I saw, in at least limited time.
Yeah.
So he's a good player.
Who, Steves or Minton?
Steves. I like him. I mean, he played for Dubuque in USHL, and he was pretty successful there his last couple seasons. And then he went on to University of Notre Dame, and he got signed there. So yeah, he's been actually very surprisingly good with the Marlies. Well, maybe I shouldn't say surprisingly, but he's, especially when he stepped in, he kind of looked like he belonged in the AHL too. So I think he was kind of a guy that Dubas and Shanahan, sort of the development staff within the Leafs organization, was like, oh, we got to keep an eye on this guy and give him some opportunities to play. So
I think he's going to be like him. If Robertson doesn't make the team out of the jump, I think it's going to be him and Robertson that are the major call-ups for forwards, because they both look good. It'd be a surprise to see Robertson not make it, but like
the Leafs are deep at forward, so we
do have some depth.
If Denny Mulligan, if Zach Aston Reese, if they start stealing these roster spots, then a guy like Nick Robertson gets the short end of the stick, or you move away other guys like Kerfoot, etc., to make space to keep Robertson. But it's like it's hard.
The more I look at it, honestly, I don't think he's gonna start with the Leafs, Robertson, which kind of sucks. But like the depth we have, like I didn't even touch on him, but I like the way Aston Reese played too. Like his game doesn't really stand out to you, but like he provides like the forward checking the Leafs need, the physicality, that kind of stuff. He was a good defensively. I liked him on the penalty kill as well. And then, but yeah, Malgin, Gaudette, and bringing it to the next game, Yarncroc looked awesome, scoring 2 goals. Honestly, fit really well with Matthews and Bunting. Scored from the same spot twice. Mm-hmm. I think if up the lineup, he can score a 20-goal season just because of players around him. But I don't know, man. Like I was kind of down on the Leafs depth to start, like from the offseason going into the training camp, because I wasn't too sure. But like, look like we have some guys here.
It honestly feels like they might have like a little bit of an embarrassment in riches in terms of depth forwards. Like when you're like, we might not be able to play this Nick Robertson guy because we just got so many guys who look like they can contribute right now. But I wonder what the Leafs do, man. I wonder if they just roll with having all of those assets, or do they move some of them? Like, it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, that game, I'm just going to kind of hand it off to Jeffrey here. He can kind of dance on the parade, because there was the collapse in that game. So Jeff, if you want to just take it from there.
Yeah, no, the boys just kind of took over in the second half of the third period. I like the play. Yeah, no, I was happy to just kind of see, like I had said beforehand, it's kind of a mash of our players getting out there and sort of having some ice time together. Stutzel looked like he was ready to go to another guy. I mean, he just got the contract, so he's probably got a little pep in his step. Yeah, I'm just excited for the season. I hope we can compete with some of the top teams in the division. And I mean, yeah, it was a preseason game. I don't have much evaluation. I did think that Yarncroc did look good as well, though. Too. I think he can kind of slide up and down the Leafs lineup, and they can sort of place him wherever they sort of like to. He's probably going to be more of a middle six guy, obviously, but maybe he gets a chance to play with like a William Nylander, or who knows, right? So yeah, if he's healthy, he could be a good player. He definitely is an asset to have. Malgin is a good player. I liked him when he was with the Leafs before. Yeah, and hopefully a guy like Robertson does get the chance. I mean, again, it's like, yeah, it's tough because you want him to play, but then you also want him to continue to develop because he's still young. And it's like, well, do you want him to sort of play on the fourth line, or do you want him to be playing like number one power play, top line minutes in the AHL? It's a tough kind of conversation to have, especially with probably the player. So that'll be interesting to see, certainly.
So I'll just I'll transition it here, unless you guys got anything else to say on this Leafs game.
I had one more thing. One, Jeff, I don't like that you're being too nice right now, because I wanted to say, let's hold on there. That Sens pack was smoking a little nicely until the CHL goalie came in. But Samsonov, TJ's biggest best favorite goalie, Samsonov, looked great. I don't know if you saw any of his highlights. He looked awesome.
Yeah, another great player.
Kind of fucked everything up for us. And I don't know, must be just kind of down bad for Robertson. You see his brothers probably going to be making some big bucks here soon. We'll get into Jason later, and then he's kind of struggling to even make the team because of all of our depth. But overall, some good games. I liked what I saw from both teams.
For sure. So, I mean, that kind of touches that game. I was watching a little bit closer to my boys. I just kind of had it on in the background while I was editing, but just some kind of like quick off notes that I got here. So Anthony Manta looked like he's back to full strength, after missing a lot of last season. He came back towards the end, but he never really, he looked like he was playing like he didn't want to injure his shoulder again type thing. Like he wasn't being the 6'5" Manta that like we traded away Vrana for.
Also,
so that was
also not worth it. Not worth it in preseason, right? You don't want to go too crazy in preseason, so I get that.
Yeah. But besides that, I thought he had a really good game. Also, two guys who played a little bit last year and are now like looking like maybe they might be either depth forwards or they might get a shot is one was Joe Snively, who he played a couple games last year. And I remember he scored like 3 or 4 goals in his first 3 or 4 games. Like that guy was rocking it. But he looked good again, and I assume he'll be one of the biggest like preseason kind of like showers, because they gave him like 17 minutes on ice in that game, and he scored and he looked really well. And then my boy Alexei Protas, if you know, 21-year-old Czech Republic giant. He makes Tom Wilson look small. He makes Tom look small, bro. He's 6'6", and this kid played, I want to say like 20-30 games. You can check my math, but I don't know how many points he got exactly. I just remember that every time he was on the ice, he either made a nice physical play or he got the puck out of the corner and pushed it down the ice. So I was excited to see him get he had a nice primary assist in this game. But besides that, I don't know. I didn't really like the defense when I'm looking at who was even really out here. Like we had Vincent Iro, who was our second round pick from last year. He was he had an assist, but honestly, I didn't really notice too much of the defensemen because we didn't really have like none of our starting defensemen here. We had like Nick Jensen and Faravari, and that's about it. Like everybody else was just like AHL guys who were just kind of mixing in who's going to fill in our depth. So I didn't think the defense was like particularly atrocious, I did think the goaltending was not so hot. So we lost this game 4-3 in overtime, and Whl 15 shots. He let in 2 goals and then he got pulled. He didn't look that great. Like the 2 goals that he gave up were like, it's not like, you can never say it's like always all on the goalie's fault, the plays that lead up to it to get that scoring opportunity. But both of them felt like, he could have had a chance at it. Just kind of like, I remember the one he deflected, I think off his blocker, like just barely missed it. So that was tough. And then Hunter Shepard came in, and I remember this guy. He was like, every day I'd get an update on my phone from the score. Like, oh yeah, Hunter Shepard called up to Caps taxi squad, sent down to ECHL, taxi squad, ECHL. So I don't know. This guy's like 26 years old. He's getting a preseason shot. He didn't play great. And go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, like, who all played? You said Manta, but like, was there any other NHL guys on forward? Like, did you get
there were other
Strome,
NHLers, but
Brown?
like Jensen, Sheary, Nick Dowd, McMichael, Faravari. Like those are the types of guys that you saw in this game. No Connor Brown, no Dylan Strome, none of those guys. Like, more so your down roster guys, or you're just kind of like young guys. We're all playing.
I guess that just goes to like the benefit of what the Leafs and Sens had going on with the split squad games, right? That's obviously a great. I feel like more teams should be doing that, just so you get to see who's like your whole squad. So I guess we'll see like Strome, the Browns, like in the next preseason. Do you know anything about that, or has it not come out yet?
I don't know if we're gonna see them or not, but I assume that like they got to get these guys on the ice at some point. So maybe it's not the next one, but you got to think it would be the next one after that. Like, preseason's only so long. How can you just put like Ovechkin, Kuzi, and Connor Brown on a line having never played together? Like, just off practice? Like, I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. But that's kind of all I have to say on that game. Like, I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on any other games or news or notes around the NHL.
Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to any other games. Have we seen Shane Wright play or anything like that? Like any big rookies? Because I haven't heard much.
I'm not too sure. Did we catch a Shane Wright game? I'll check.
We gotta do our
research
here, boys.
I was gonna say I didn't do my due diligence on that. I was actually excited to watch him play, and I don't even know when I don't know if they've had their first.
No, they haven't played yet.
When do they play tonight?
They play tonight versus the Edmonton Oilers.
It's at 10. I still might have to check that out though. Let me check their Twitter, see if they
definitely got to stay locked onto that one.
See how he plays. What about Montreal? Is Slavkovsky played?
I am checking that as we speak as well.
Haven't even looked.
Nope, no Slavkovsky yet either. That is tonight at 7:00.
Okay, well maybe there's
New Jersey Devils. So
all right, those are some games that we can watch and see.
Yep. Some games to check out tonight, but yeah, kind of like, some preseason games happen, but not a lot of huge, rookie storylines, more so on the team secular level. Like, if you're a big fan of your team, you know what happened, and that's kind of what we gave you the breakdown of with our team. So some other like bigger news though to come out of preseason was the injuries going on in Vancouver. I don't know if one of you guys want to let people know on what kind of broke out of Vancouver.
I kind of feel bad because the same thing happened with McKay of last year to start the year, where I think I'm not sure what type of injury it is. If it's wrist, that's not good at all. But I don't think it was told how much he's gonna miss. But if it's a couple weeks, that's it's not great for Vancouver. Even though he came back from injury with the Leafs looking good, but. So I think he's going to miss some time, and it just came out that Brock Besser actually got surgery, so he's going to miss 4 weeks. So who knows? Vancouver might be starting out slow here.
And it kind of feels like every year it's something with the Vancouver man. It's always they got to sign XYZ player every single year to start the year, and it's all the rumors of, we're going to trade away JT Miller, blah blah blah, and then an injury, and then they start slow and. We'll see. They got Bruce. There it is. So
Bruce, there it is.
Watching he might have landed on his wrist. It could be that. It's either his wrist. He got hit in the. It's either shoulder or wrist. That looks like it to me. So if that's his wrist, that's not good for Vancouver fans.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
looking good. They're already going to be having a tough time fighting for a playoff spot in this division. It's kind of a bunch of like teams that are pretty close, and if they're missing two of their top six guys for a couple weeks, that could really slow them down.
And that's just what I was going to say as well, is that they're not a team that can really afford forward injuries. Like, they're not a extremely deep forward team. They kind of have their top guys. Like, Mikheyev was brought in to be a top six guy. You know what I mean? Like, versus, you know, where he on the Leafs, he's a top nine, you know, can play that upper in that lineup, but, you know, move up and down. Like, so that was one of the guys they were, you know, Xing in to fill one of those roles. And Brock Besser as well, obviously first line player. Like, yeah, they're going to have trouble scoring early in the year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to hear. At least it happened. If it's going to happen, at least it was the first game, so maybe he can get in for the start of the season. But I don't know why Besser waited so long on that surgery, unless it was something that just happened. I'm not sure, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely stay locked into that. So I know that today has kind of been a slow day, but we put our team to work here at Off the Post NHL. We put our boys to work. We make sure that there's no off days. There's no time off. We go hard in the paint. And that's why I'm going to let you guys hear the Whl Prospects. Just a little breakdown from our main man, Jeff. So, Jeff, you want to take the floor and give them this Whl Prospect rundown?
For sure, yeah. So the episode before that, I had talked about some OHL prospects that I had the privilege of being able to watch in their draft years, and obviously in certain OHL games too, over the last couple seasons. And then so I wanted to cover the WHL as well, because there's quite a few players I find that could be going within the first round, and I think that there is potential for probably, I would say maybe at least three guys that could go possibly in the top 10 that come from the W. It's very strong class this year. Obviously, you have guys like Connor Bedard, who is sort of the crown jewel of the draft, if you could say, or maybe even of this generation. There's Braden Yeager, who obviously I'm not sure if anybody else has heard of him. If you guys have heard of him, he's 6 foot 165. He's another center. He's a really good player. He plays for Moose Jaw. He had 59 points in 63 games last season. He's a really, really skilled, smooth, silky smooth player. I'm really excited to see where he ends up going. Right now, he's kind of projected to go about 4 to 6 range, although that could change over the season. Obviously, those things change. Another name to watch out for would be Zach Benson. Again, another 2005. He can kind of play center or wing. I know sometimes he's usually put on left wing. But yeah, again, he's another possibly top 5, most likely top 10 pick though. He plays for Winnipeg, 63 points in 58 games last season. Just a truly phenomenal talent. He was a little bit of a late bloomer, because he ended up playing U15 prep. He only played on like the A team, which I don't believe was the varsity squad. So he ended up having a really good season. And since then, Winnipeg drafted him very high. And now he's probably going to be a top 10 pick in this year's upcoming NHL draft. Another player, Riley Height, another 17-year-old. These are all 2005 born players. He's 5'11", 179. He's probably going to go in maybe I'd say like the 15 to 20 range more so. He's not someone I would see going in the top 10 per se, but again, last season, 58 points in 65 games. He plays with Prince George Cougars. He was on one of the very best AAA teams in the country, the Saskatoon Contacts. I think Saskatchewan is probably one of the most underrated provinces for hockey teams or hockey players in the whole country. They have so much talent that comes out of there. And again, there's sort of another product of that. And I do have some honorable mentions. Nate Danielson of the Brendan Wheat Kings, Callan Lind, and Tanner Molendijk from Saskatoon Blades. I think all three of those guys have the potential to probably be first round picks as well. And overall, there's just so many good players, I think, in this draft. And just to have the WHL kind of show out this season was something that kind of surprised me because you don't maybe see this many high-end talent players coming out of that league. It's known to be a little bit more physical league, which actually I think may help players transition into the professional game a little easier. But yeah, nonetheless, WHL, there's quite a few players to watch out for there. I would keep an eye on all those guys. They're all going to have phenomenal seasons. They've all had great starts to the year, including 14-year-old. And yes, I said that correctly. 2007 born. And yes, a December 2007 born player, 14-year-old Gavin McKenna with the Medicine Hat Tigers. He's not eligible for the NHL draft. This is my little surprise I had for you guys. He's not eligible till 2026, this kid.
Jesus.
But he did make the Medicine Hat Tigers this year. And he had 4 assists in his first game as a 14-year-old in the WHL, currently on pace for 274 points. So yeah, keep your eye on him. He is a phenomenal player. I actually had only really dove into evaluating him like within the last couple of weeks and kind of looking at what kind of game he plays and what kind of player you could maybe you could get out of him. I mean, for example, too, last year when he was 13 turning 14, he was playing high school hockey in Kelowna. He was playing with the Rink Hockey Academy U18s. So again, he's a 2007 playing with 2004s, 2005s, and he had 65 points in 35 games. I mean, the kid is phenomenal.
The real deal.
Yeah, he's pretty much good at everything. And I mean, he's already 5'10", 161 at his age. He's a White Horse Yukon Territory product. So shout out to White Horse.
Hey,
don't
that's
see many players coming out of there either. Yeah, and so I mean, 2026 draft is a few years away, but he was definitely a player that I'd heard of him, but I hadn't realized truly how good he was until I sort of was watching some of his games from last season, and I was like, wow, like this kid is the real deal. Do we have like another generational talent here coming out of the Western Canada? Possible, but
another one down the pipeline.
Time will tell.
And that was Jeff's WHL scouting takes. Atta baby Jeff, let's go. Hey.
I do have a couple of ads though, because obviously TJ will know Braden Yeager and Benson, both GM mode legends. You know,
oh yeah, of
those
course.
guys a couple times.
Oh yeah, if you play NHL,
actually,
of course.
There's actually the one guy I actually wanted to ask you about, so I can get your opinion on him. I think it's going to be his first year in the CHL. Michael Misa. Do you have anything for me on this guy? Because I've been interested in him.
Yeah. So again, he's a 2007 born player. He's 14. He's drafted by Saginaw. He went first overall in the OHL draft this year. You know, there's only a handful of players that have had that sort of honor. I mean, most notably recently Shane Wright, but of course Connor McDavid, John Tavares, Sean Day is another famous example, or maybe infamous example. Yeah, so it's a very, very, very hard thing to get that status granted to you, because it's like every level you move up in sports is like it's just going to only continue to get more physical, and it's going to continue, the pace is going to continue to get faster. So they sort of do an evaluation on players, and Michael Misa didn't actually apply to get exceptional status until just before the draft, I believe. He was kind of really pushing it out because I don't think him and his family were necessarily sure what they wanted to do coming up this season. But sure enough, after having one of the best OHL Cup performances I've seen from not only an underage player, but just a player in general, I think they decided to go for it. And it was pretty swift and quick where they were like, okay, CHL governing body was on board with him playing a year early. It's really about not only the physical maturity, but I think the mental maturity is a lot to ask of you know, a 14-year-old, yeah, to take on all that responsibility, because you have to do media, you have to do all these little extra things. You have to be maybe a little bit more conscious of the things you say and the way that you carry yourself and the things that you're doing. And so yeah, obviously he was very much obviously talented enough on the ice. And so I think once they sort of did psychological evaluations and what have you, it was a very quick process. So yeah, he's going to be playing in Saginaw. He's a phenomenal player. He definitely reminds you of like a Connor McDavid, you know, just that sort of type of player where he sort of got this just edge about him, where I think his skating is sort of a notch above every single other person's that he's going to be playing against. he's very dominant. He's got fantastic hands, and his vision and playmaking ability is untapped. I mean, the guys that I really like are guys that, will get the puck in the corner and then sort of come out and sort of either look for a pass, look for some sort of lane or some space for themselves and create offense or at least positive plays out of sort of nothing. And he's someone certainly that can do that. And I think he's poised to have a really good season. Will he end up being better than a guy like Shane Wright? You never know. I can't remember if I believe he's also 2025 draft, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but surely he'll be a top 3 pick there.
Is he OHL?
Yeah. He's with the Saginaw Spirit.
Boys, we're going to have to do an off the sports night, maybe go to like a Mississauga game and watch some of these prospects coming up. So we can get
baby. We got to go and sound, baby.
Mississauga, whatever. So
yeah, my dad actually. My dad got season tickets for Owen Sound Pack this year, so we'll definitely we can get to go see some games there. We'll give you guys some live reports. Maybe do like live on the scene,
Live on the scene.
We'll go mic'd up on the OHL games. Get some prospect news here.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe we could get some interviews too. Like Ethan Burrows. Maybe we'll.
There it is. There's the mic. We're coming up. We're coming up in the podcasting world here.
Colby Barlow draft interview coming up.
There it is.
Looking for them clicks. Looking for them clicks.
Yes. Honestly, we have to do it soon so nobody else does it, and then we can be like the first. Before the NHL and before Sportsnet and TSN run all their profiles, their draft profiles. We got to be the first. So.
Yeah, we got to beat Bob McKenzie. That's my only goal in life, is to beat Bob McKenzie to one story.
Bobby Margarita.
Take his interview, then destroy his margaritas afterwards.
Oh, that's a little too gutty, bro.
We're getting on TSN with that one.
I don't know, bro. I kind of have a conscience.
I tried them. They were terrible. They were absolutely terrible.
You ain't a fan?
So I have no problem.
Wow.
No, I hate them.
I've never tried
it.
I've tried them. I like them, bro.
They're terrible. What do you mean
you
like them? No, it's just awful.
Okay, you know what? Maybe next episode I'll buy one for myself and then we'll do it.
There it is.
Because I've never tried it. So
that would be fire.
Yeah, we need that for the next episode for the Friday episode. We'll
there you go.
Okay. All right, Margarita Fridays, and Monday is today. And today I want to hear your way too early NHL season award predictions. Either of you can take it away and start it off. We're going to go award by award all the way down. We're just going to kind of go Hart Trophy first. I'll lead you into the next award, but give me your Hart Trophy, give me your take, and then pass it to the next guy, and we'll just keep going around till we're all finished. All right?
Okay, I think if I'm understanding correctly, I think we should do it where we all say our Hart, and then we all say our Ted Lindsay's, and we all say. So I think we should just go in a line for each.
That's what I'm saying. We'll go around.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
perfect. Who's gonna start? So we're gonna go Hart first.
I'm terrible with awards. You're gonna have to tell me what award is. Like obviously I know the Rocket,
Hart's MVP.
Like that,
Hart's MVP.
Yeah.
Ted Lindsay is the most outstanding, voted by the players.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, some of them are really specific. So.
And then Norris is obviously D-man, Vezina goalie, Calder rookie, Selke defense.
Okay, cool.
So
all right, who wants to take it away with the Hart?
You know what? As the host, TJ, I want you to take it away as the Hart.
All right. My Hart Trophy pick is probably as basic as food basic skits, boys. It is. Okay. I'm going Connor McDavid as my Hart Trophy. I mean, just assuming that they're gonna hopefully have a good year next year. I mean, he's not gonna win the Hart no matter how many points he puts up if that team misses the playoffs. So I'm kind of really hoping that they make the playoffs so they can make my take right. But he's gonna put up a ton of points unless somebody comes out of nowhere and just carries the team, or Matthews ends up having a better year, or et cetera, et cetera. But that leads me into my dark horse. So I'm picking a dark horse for this one. Where's Kevin Fiala? Where's half this guy's roster, bro? If this guy puts up 120 points and they make the playoffs, the Wild, and he puts them on their back, Kirill Kaprizov, my dark horse. And it's also even more dark because the Russian hate conspiracy. I don't know what's going on there. They might not want to give it to him, the voters. I don't fucking know, but I'm going Kirill as my super dark horse candidate just because he's going to be their whole offense. So if they make the playoffs, it's going to be because of him. So give him his fucking flowers.
I respect that. Jeff, I got the super dark horse, so I want you to go next too for your heart.
My heart, I mean, obviously McDavid is probably, I would say, the safest choice. But maybe I'll throw another dark horse in there too, and maybe it's not as dark, but maybe Austin Matthews. I'll go with.
So you think he doubles it up?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when has he not had a good season? You know, when the guy's healthy and he's playing hockey, he's scoring goals and he's helping the Leafs win. So, I mean, they're consistently out of the first round, yes, but they're still in the playoffs.
Just had to throw that jab. Just had to throw the jab, didn't you?
Well, I'm just saying it's a regular season award, and the goal of the regular season is to win as many games as possible and get into the playoffs. And then the playoffs are a whole other thing. So, I mean, yeah, 60 goals coming off that season.
All right, so you got Austin Matthews. So I wanted to wait till last because I was going to start out boring, and obviously I had the same answer that TJ had, but I'm actually going to switch it now for my original answer. So I think I'm going to go with Nathan McKinnon, honestly, for my award. I don't think it's too outlandish. I think the Avalanche got a little bit worse. I think he's never had a 100-point season. But what did you say?
I just think like our top three are kind of like you can't go wrong if you picked any of those top three.
Oh yeah.
So he's never had a 100-point season. So if he stays healthy for the full year, I think he could explode this year. But are you guys ready for my dark horse?
Oh yeah.
To me, this makes a lot of sense. All depends on the circumstances, right? Not a great couple of years. Ready? My dark horse for the Hart Trophy, your boy, Jack Eichel of the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh,
think about it.
Okay.
He's been off of injury,
like
so he hasn't had the greatest couple of seasons, right? This Vegas team does not look that great, especially with goaltending. If he pops off for 100 points, 105 points, and he carries them to the playoffs, that's your most valuable player right there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel it.
Arguably,
100%.
What were you gonna say, Teach?
The argument like that would be like so much in his favor too is just like what we can't say about the Oilers and about the Avalanche and about the Leafs is that like, you know, they were down bad last year. Like they needed a guy to come in the next season and take them over that hump. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he would be bringing Vegas back to where they were. And if he did that, I could definitely see it. That's a good one. Ooh.
Arguably, I don't know if there's a more important player in the league to a team than Jack Eichel is right now. Obviously, there's better players, but I'm saying important to their team and their team's success. It could be Eichel, man, because like they got stripped last year or this.
And that's kind of, right? I went the similar argument with Kirill. I just thought they kind of got a little bit stripped. So if he doesn't do it, then they're not doing anything. But yeah. I like those picks. I feel like those are good. Eichel. We had some good like honest takes, and then also our dark horses were spicy. And if they hit, these clips, they're gonna be so nice come award season.
Should we go around or should we snake it?
We can snake it now. You can start us off in Lindsay. I like that idea.
All right. So I'm gonna be boring here, but I have to show my bias. Matthews is taking it again. He's getting over 60 goals. Could be a 70-goal season. Don't forget, he only scored like 8 goals in October or November or something like that, or 10 goals, right? Yeah. And then he just went crazy. So like he's looking dominant in camp. I didn't really touch on that in the preseason thing, but he's looking really good. If he starts off hot and ends hot, he could get 70 goals. That's all I'm saying. I got Ted Lindsay for Austin Matthews. Jeff, what about you?
That's a good pick. See, I've been thinking about this one. My pick would be boring, but I just think just the raw skill and talent that the guy has. I'd gotta go McDavid, just because I don't want to say Matthews, and you could say McKinnon again for that too, obviously, but
yeah, you can rotate any of the three for those 2 awards.
Yeah, really. And like that's what I mean. It's just I guess maybe voted by the players. I'm just thinking it's probably awful to have to play Connor McDavid on any given night. Like just sucks. Just is terrible. Like the last thing that anybody in the league wants to do, no matter what position you're playing. So yeah, I'll go with McDavid.
My take is to a T. I had written down with dot jot notes exactly what Mitchell said. So verbatim, I'm gonna spit this to you. I had Austin Matthews. He's gonna score 60, 65, 70 goals next year, and then voted on by the players. Guy scoring 65 doesn't happen very often. Imagine a guy doing it twice, like back to back.
And yeah, when's the last back-to-back 60-goal season? Because Ovi didn't do it, Stamkos didn't do it. Like
that's what I'm saying. So when it's voted on by the players, like they look at that stuff and they're like, yeah, this guy was able to have two like insane goal scoring seasons back to back. Give him his flowers, give him his kudos. So that's where I'm going with that. I'm banking on a Matthews another exactly similar season, and then he'll get the kudos from his peers based on the fact that he was able to be so consistent back to back years.
Yeah, for sure.
Taking it over to the Norris. Kind of glad I get to start this one out.
I thought you would. I thought you would.
Every time
every
time I have to like I'm saying this too. I wanted to have a couple different picks from other people, like just to also give myself the shot of like being right when everyone else was picking the other guy. So my pick is Adam Fox. I'm taking Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. I am a Caps fan. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, it's Adam Fox. I'm telling you, it's so hard for me because it is a little bit of a bias thing because I don't watch as many West Coast games, and I'm gonna get into them a bit more this year. I'm gonna try and force myself to stay up a little later, fuck work vibes, but. Yeah, it's my brother is a Rangers fan as much as the Caps and the Rangers have had our battles, and I've hated their team in the entire Lundqvist era, Ryan McDonough era, Ryan Callahan era. This is the one era of the Rangers that I kind of heavy fucks with their squad, and it pains me to say, but Adam Fox, Chris Kreider scores 20 goals without Adam Fox last year. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you actually watch these games, it's so shambolic that this guy gets to take credit for these goals when he is like, he's so good at tipping the pucks. I'll give him that. But when he plays with Panarin and Adam Fox, it's clockwork. Like both those guys are just so disgusting at passing that they can see every lane to Kreider's tip in, like literally beside the goalie skate. So I don't know. I just love Adam Fox. I think if I'm going with a more like, I'm not trying to think out the side the box answer, I'm going with Makar, but I'll let you guys kind of expand on that take later if one of you guys took that. But if you guys took others, go ahead by all means.
You just heard from our resident Caps fan, closet Anaheim fan, closet Leafs fan, and closet Rangers fan. All right, we're passing it to you,
Jeff. Clown emoji insert.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Continue.
So for me, I'll go a little bit, tiny bit. Mel, actually, it's not that far off the board. But I could see this guy, especially just because he's gonna be the guy. He has been the guy, and is another player's like, when is he not having a tremendous season on both ends of the ice? I'm gonna take Roman Josi.
There it is, back to back.
I'm a really big fan of his game. He's able to produce. He's really solid on the back end. He's a great defenseman. Obviously, I would say Makar because he's just like the pick to take, I think. But if I'm going maybe a little bit off the board, I'll go with Josi because I think he's a really solid defenseman. And I believe he's won it, but was it 2 years ago he won?
I don't think he's won it recently. Unless I'm missing something. I thought he won it last year. I don't know why I thought that. Obviously,
maybe it was last year. Okay, I was gonna say I know.
No, Makar won it. Makar won it last year. I thought.
Yeah, I Josi before. Maybe I'm not sure if he has one yet, but I thought he did have one. If he doesn't, that's my mistake. But he definitely could have one.
Yeah, well, you guys left it for me. I'm going the boring take. Best defenseman in the world. Top 3 player in the NHL to me, Cale Makar. I think it's just easy the way he played throughout last season and all the way to the playoffs. There's no reason to think that he won't continue that play. So not much to say on that one. I think it's going to be Cale Makar. But This is why I wanted the snake. This is why I wanted the snake draft for the Vezina Trophy. All right, guys. Fate of the universe on the line. Death being pointed at Earth. Give me Matt Murray. Let's go. Let's go. Give me Matt Murray of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're lying.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Don't
kidding.
stop this man. He's a menace to society.
We have to end the podcast.
I'm just,
there if that's
I'm just kidding. But I do actually have a dark horse. I was thinking about it, and I didn't want to be boring and say Igor and Vasilevsky. So I think it could happen. Honestly, I think it's very realistic. I think he's a top 3 goalie in the league. My Vezina Trophy for this year is going to go to Saros, the Nashville Predators. Outstanding season last year. I think he can add on it, and I think the Predators are better defensively as well. I think he could put up the numbers to do it.
Yeah, that one's really hingent on Nashville doing well. But if you watch, quick shout out plug, watch our Western Conference video, and we have them at least finishing pretty high. You'll have to see. Oh. And yeah, I like that take because he did play like team on his back, almost Pecorine-esque, which is kind of funny in the same jersey. Just one of those goalies that has to put the team on his back. And this year their team's better, so a little weight taken off his shoulders, and he might just run with it.
All right, yeah. Jeff, who do you got for best goalie in the league next year?
Well, I mean the picks are. I hate picking safe. I guess I'll go Vasilevsky just because I mean, I think he's the best goalie in the world. Yeah, it's like the Makar thing, like you said, Mitch, is just kind of. If you don't pick him, I mean, one is going to be me or TJ. Like I feel like if I didn't say it, right, or
and
he would at least be mentioned.
Going off that point, I'll just make it quick. I'm going Shesterkin.
Yeah, of course.
So yes. It's like really Mitch kind of left us. Mitch took the dark horse take, and he kind of left us with those two. So if Jeff took one, I was going to take the other, the 2 best goalies in the world over the last 2 years, let's say. So I assume one of those 2 are going to win it. But if Saros is able to do it, then Mitch is going to have one hell of a clip right here. So
that's what I'm saying.
Love to see it.
Clip it.
Selke. No, wait. Did we want to do Calder first or Selke first?
We'll do Calder first.
This one's fun. I'm curious on who the panel likes here, but I got a Canadian jersey behind me. I'm not taking a Canadian-born player. I'm taking Matty Beniers, baby. Matty Beniers is my Calder take. He's going to be given such a big role in Seattle. They're going to ask a lot of him on the offensive side. And if you watched him throughout, I believe it was maybe 9 or 10 games then last season when the Michigan season ended, he came up and I believe he was close to, if not point per game. The kid looked really good. He looked like it's not going to take him long to adjust. So that's my take. I mean, in my opinion, it's going to be a two horse race if we don't have any surprises, which we always do. But I'm curious on who you guys got. I got Matty Beniers from the Seattle Kraken.
This is Jeff's go around. This is going to be his hottest take yet.
Whew, I actually do have a somewhat hot take here, but yeah. Maybe it's not that hot because he's been like really good in preseason and a lot of people have been talking about him.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you steal my pick, I'm gonna be pissed, Jeff.
I might be stealing your pick. I don't know. I kind of have like two guys. The one guy I have in my head first guy I would like to say, I loved him in junior. I loved him in college. He played with Team Canada. I'm going to go with my man from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Kent Johnson.
Good pick. That's a good
fantastic player. I love him. He's really responsible defensively. And of course, I mean, he's got a ton of offensive flair. The guy just puts pucks in the net, creates space for himself and his teammates. There's really not many things you could say that he lacks as a player. And then I would say maybe my dark horse pick would be Owen Power, a really good prospect as well. I really like his game. I think he's going to be easily a probably top 10 defenseman in the league one day. Maybe not, but I'm definitely going to go with Kent as my first pick and Owen as my sleeper.
I really like the Owen pick. I'm not even going to lie. My brain just got all mashed up and I didn't even remember Owen Power.
All right. I think TJ knows my pick. Hate to do this as a Leafs fan, but I'm going to the Montreal Canadiens for a year right now. I'm just kidding. That Pierre Engvall 2.0 ass player ain't getting my pick.
Oh!
I'm going to the Anaheim Ducks with Mason McTavish. Let's go.
There it is. It is.
Played great in juniors, saved the team. I think he's going to be on a breakout season. I think he gets at least 50 points. He's my pick for the Calder.
I love it, bro. I love it. I think it's going to be really a two horse race. I saw somebody, I think I sent Mitchell this clip. I don't know who it was. This guy was talking shambolically though. He was like, what if, you know, he was talking about fantasy hockey. He was saying, what if you just take a flyer on McTavish and Beniers? Like there's a chance that both these guys get 65 points next year. I'm like,
I saw that too.
65 points in the rookie year?
Yeah,
like, Jesus Christ. I don't know if this guy just like was only a fantasy guy, like he doesn't watch like fucking much hockey, but I'm like, you are asking a lot out of these rookies. Like I get it.
I mean, it's possible, but it's probably not gonna happen. I can't really see that.
It just really depends. If they do both get first line roles with power play on power play minutes, then maybe, but still that's a stretch.
I had to bait and switch the Habs fans listening though. That was
so funny. That was so funny, Mitch. I loved it.
So it's Selke. You know what? I'm gonna go out on another take here. All right, boys.
Bro, throw the Sens fans a bone. Take Suzuki or something. Or the Habs fans, sorry. Throw the Habs fans a bone.
Get that third liner out of my face, TJ. I'm gonna go. Actually, this is another dark horse. I have to.
Oh, no.
I'm probably gonna get flamed for this. Got some penalty kill reps in the preseason game. I'm going Austin Matthews. I think it's gonna be his first Selke ever.
Wow.
He's gonna dethrone Patrice. He's gonna get some reps on the penalty kill. He's gonna kill it again defensively. Bet one of the best two-way players in the game. I think Max.
He's going to be the greatest two-way player of all time if he scores 60 goals and then wins a Selke.
It's probably not going to happen because I don't know if the Leafs want to risk him on the penalty kill because he's already had some injuries. But if he played a full season on a penalty kill, I think he could win it. I think he's been top 5 in the last couple of votings, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Also, there's Mitch Marner who could win it too, but it usually goes to centerman.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go. I have a couple thoughts in my head, but I think my safest pick would probably be Barkov. I believe he finished second in voting last year. And I mean, phenomenal player. Again, another guy. I love his game. He's solid both ends of the ice. There's not really many things he can't do very well. And I think he just plays a really solid 200-foot game.
Got that fire, boy.